Hello everyone, welcome to Microsoft Technology Center. My name is Jarek Sokolnicki and I'm running MTC in Warsaw. Today is special day, special event, together with our partner PwC in place here in Warsaw and digitally, of course. We will talk about the completely new solution based on our cloud on the Azure. So it's the really a big pleasure, and we are so proud that the PwC has chosen the Microsoft as the technology partners, and that we can together launch the new applications for our customers. So please welcome Paweł.
Thank you very much, Jarek. Hello, everyone. First of all, on behalf of PwC Poland and entire Microsoft Alliance team in Poland, my name is Paweł Matulewicz, and I'm very excited to present and launch you another business application natively built and deployed on Microsoft Cloud, the PwC Financial Crime Unit DMS solution. About the specific solution, we'll talk, during the entire session. My role is just to give you a smooth background regarding the strategic direction which has been taken by the PwC in Poland, which is alliance with the Microsoft. We believe that, such an approach like building such application and DMS solution on Azure monetize our partnership through sparking the BizApps and Azure consumed revenue within the client operations. And from the other side of the hand, it kicks off, number of specific PwC consulting services, starting from, of course, PwC FCU, best class, let's say, consulting industry knowledge, ending up on the specific technology and operational approach. Well, maybe right now a word for you regarding our approach to the alliance in Poland, which lays on the four main pillars. We decided to invest in best class cloud practice responsible for entire Microsoft Cloud business transformation, starting from cloud due diligence through the cloud, let's say, legal aspects up to entire cloud technological implementation. Then we formed a special set of competencies around Microsoft Cloud cybersecurity, starting from hardening existing Azure landing zones up to co-working and preparing with a client dedicated cybersecurity strategy, long-term cybersecurity implementations. The third pillar refers to the BizApps. So mainly we've been introducing those and people team in Poland responsible for securing, upgrading Microsoft ERP solution from the olden versions, on-premise versions, to the current cloud, let's say, version. Last not least, those mentioned third pillar, which is really cheering by the Microsoft, monetizing, first of all, our best class business knowledge with through the building, business applications. Today's session is just an example of such, let's say, approach. But a week after, by the way, we'll have another, let's say, meeting and session here from Microsoft Technology Center in Warsaw regarding launching another, let's say, business application dedicated for retail sector. So please feel all invited also for this session. Now, I would like to introduce Mr. Tomasz Turski, partner of PwC Poland, responsible for financial crime technology projects, the father and the sponsor I would call it this way, of this great idea building this solution on a Microsoft cloud. Thank you very much, Tomek. Over to you.
Thank you, Paweł. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webcast. My name is Tomasz Turski, and together with me today are Julita Gwyziec and Una Barrett. We are from Financial Crime Unit, PwC Competency Center, dedicated to combating financial crime and regulatory consulting. Today, we would like to present to you our brand new solution, an innovative platform called DMS that allows humans work hand in hand with bots and with automations. So you will see it in a second. We'll tell you a bit more about the business challenge that we are solving through that platform. What's the client need? What's the market need? Then we'll run two demos, one in the financial crime space, the other one focusing on ESG. And then we'll tell a bit more about the future perspectives and other use cases. Okay, Julita.
Good morning. I'll start, as Tomek mentioned, with a short description of current business challenges. So as you may know, rapidly changing regulatory environment imposes more demands and new rules that our clients have to adhere to. An example of such new rules can be the latest ESG reporting requirements or the latest changes in sanction controls. Increasingly strict and complex rules require also implementation of very labor-intensive manual processes and therefore setting up additional workforce to perform such controls. Meanwhile, looking at the current economic environment, our clients are under more and more pressure to look at their productivity and efficiency. So the smart answer for such challenges is technology. Technology that allows for automations of manual data-intensive tasks, technology that provides a sufficient flexibility to accommodate changes, and at the same time provides an overview and control of implemented procedures. DMS provides all of those solutions and requirements. It is a highly automated platform dedicated for management and delivery of operational services. And the key functionalities include effective work management, advanced use of data analytics for example, process mining or performance and quality control, easy configurations and adjustments to specific client requirements or client needs, built-in automations and AI and machine learning solutions developed based on our experience. And in a minute, Una and Tomek will show all of that and more during the demo sessions. And you will be able to see how DMS can allow our clients to reduce operational processing times by up to 50%. So over to Tomek for the first demo.
Okay, thank you. So let me share my screen with you, and you will see what the platform looks like. Okay, so what you can see right now, that's the main window of the platform. That's a view that a person working at our FCU, but also a user of our clients would have as the first landing page. On the left-hand side, there is a number of applications that can be used by operator, and we'll go through them during the demo. What's important about DMS and what's the main idea about DMS is that it should be a single place for people to work. It should help structure their work. It should help manage it, allocate it to people, and then collect as much data as possible to derive insights, to run process mining, and get robust reporting. On top of that, we use DMS to help interact people with AI and with bots that help to automate tasks. So now let me show you what a typical flow looks like. So I'm as a user, I have a list of my tasks that are currently assigned to me pending my action. I will pick one of them just to show you what's the flow. So first of all, I can choose the status of the task. It's quite important as we need detailed reporting on that, and we use all of those data further. We also log what the user is doing in background to use it for analytics. And the heart of each task and all processes that are performed in DMS is called data collector. So this is a single place where I fully perform my task end to end. So it's supposed to take me step by step through all activities that I should perform, all data points that I need to collect, the analysis that I have to perform, just to structure that in the right way, in the right order, and make sure that I do it up to the right quality with all possible automations. The example that you can see right now is based on a KYC process, so that's AML space. In a moment, we'll also show you an example for ESG. So let's deep dive into what I can do and what it gives me when I'm working with DMS. First of all, I have all my work well ordered. I can follow the structure implemented by DMS. Everything is clear and organized. Then, on top of that, DMS helps me with automations that support me in performing my work. In this case, for KYC, I would have to perform desktop research on that company that I'm doing a due diligence on. I would have to go to multiple data sources to collect data points, to collect files, evidence, to put it all in one place. That's all already done by DMS for me. So it happened even before I started working on that case. And I can access the results provided by the bots. So let me give you an example how automations support me in my work. For instance, here I would be supposed to find out registration number of that entity. So I would have to go to company register or stock exchange to look it up. Instead, I can, with one click, I can see the results of research that has been conducted by DMS already. I see that it found that entity in a company register. I can see what was the registration number that was obtained. I can just pick it and it will be saved automatically. In case there are multiple data points found in different sources, I can pick the one that I think is relevant to my case. In background, all documentation or all supporting documentation is attached to it. What's more, we can automatically download here lots of data, so we can, for instance, match risk ratings to countries. There is even a special language of formulas that can calculate things for us inside the forms to make sure that the whole flow of work is as smart as possible, and it speeds up the process. One more interesting feature of DMS of the analysis is a functionality for quality controls. So in all regulatory processes, it's quite important to perform quality controls. And for that sake, if I'm assigned a role of quality checker, I have additional functionality here. And as I review work done by someone else, I can either click correct things just to confirm that they don't require any further rework, or click across to indicate those that require some further action, add some error categories, comments, etc. So that's in all regulatory operations. That's quite important in getting better and better over time in providing feedback to people, organizing trainings, and monitoring the overall quality. I can also review all the quality results here separately or get it in a dedicated reporting. And when we are speaking about reporting, let me show you reporting capabilities of DMS. So basically, all the data processed in DMS, starting from process data, process execution, and also data points collected by users, it's all stored in a dedicated data warehouse, which then can be used for very, very detailed and insightful reporting. And what you can see right now is our demo dashboard with a number of use cases. I will show you an example for KYC. So here we can review all the cases, everything that's happening in the system. So if I'm a supervisor of a team working in DMS, I can see online in real time everything that's happening. I can track the progress and the delays, SLAs. It all can be accessed by one click. Una, during the ESG demo, will deep dive a little bit more into different types of breakdowns and reports that we can get out of DMS. Another interesting feature that we can access and that's embedded into DMS is process mining functionality. So DMS, as we work, it collects data on history of case processing, on history of our work, of everything that's happening in the system. And then we can leverage those data points to run a simulation of the work that happened. So usually such capabilities are provided by separate vendors, and if you are using a workflow to manage your work, then you need to export the data, process it, and upload it somewhere else. Here we have a live data feed, and at any point of time, I can go to an application that takes care of process mining, hit play, and it will show me real-time simulation of what actually happened in the system. So I can quite easily spot any bottlenecks. I can see how execution of my processes compares to so-called happy path or happy flow. There are many cuts of data that we can get out of it and perform further analysis. So that's a very powerful tool, especially when we are managing a complex operations with many complex processes, many steps, many people performing them in a different way. Learning that's very powerful. And so that's the process part that helps us to manage the workload, manage tasks, manage people. Let me now show you two examples of automations that we have embedded into DMS. There are many more, and we keep building more and more of them. But I think those two examples will be quite powerful. So first of all, Searcher. That's PwC built search engine that goes to multiple data sources around the world and automatically performs data research. So it can go to places like company registers, stock exchanges, financial regulators, etc. And it looks for data points on specific entities that we are researching. What I can do with Searcher is I can either set it as an automated capability, and then it will be triggered automatically before I start my cases, or I can perform a manual research. So what you can see right now, that's a manual research, and I will just show you how that works. So I can type a name of the entity that I would like to perform the search on, then pick the country of incorporation of that entity. And I will, as a good example, I will pick the UK. It shows me available data sources. So we currently have more than 100 data sources integrated with Searcher. So we can search companies from all over the world it's quite easy to plug in new data sources. So keep expanding our database. I can pick the right data sources and then send a request. It will trigger a search, and then in a matter of minutes, I will get all my information back. Let me show you what a sample research results look like. So here below, I can review past searches that have been performed. I will pick a sample one. I see that the solution searched in 4 data sources. In 3 of them, we got some information. So I will now display it. And now we can see a detailed breakdown of what data points in what sources, when was it found, what were the values. So if I'm an analyst working on a research, that might be a KYC research, but it might be also many other types of processes. I have all data at my fingertips. I don't have to go to all of those places manually. That saves quite a lot of time and improves quality as the data is automatically derived. What's more, I can download attachments with evidence of the data where it was sourced. If these data points or the sources are in foreign languages, we can use automated translations to translate them to English. So Searcher is one of the examples of automations that we can embed into processes. It can be directly connected to the workflow, so it would be seamlessly integrated with the process for analysts. Just one more example of automation. It's based on machine learning, is predictive sampling. So predictive sampling helps us in quality reviews. Typically in regulatory processes, we are supposed to perform so-called 100% check. So essentially, all work that is done has to be reperformed or rechecked by someone else just to ensure the right quality of the data. Predictive sampling learns based on quality reviews that we performed in the past, and it learns what are the most error-prone parts of the cases of the work. Also, it learns what are the skills of different people who work with DMS, and then it helps to, instead of reviewing 100% of cases, to pick a sample of cases that is most likely to contain errors. So that helps to speed up quite a lot any type of quality checks or quality reviews, and reduces time required to perform those tasks. With that example, I think we can wrap up with the KYC part, and now I will hand over to Una. And Una will show you how can we use the same capabilities of DMS, how can we configure them and use them in other areas, namely ESG.
Thanks so much, Tomek. Hard act to follow there, but I will try my best. So I guess today I wanted to take you through like an alternative use case for our DMS solution. ESG is one of like the hot topics of the day, and DMS I think is perfectly capable of answering a lot of the issues that our clients have with applying the ESG regulation. It's complicated for a number of reasons. One is that it's still in flux in terms of being coming into going live. And then also, I guess, people are rather unclear in terms of the data sources to be used, and therefore the data collection is much more harder. So I guess DMS and what we'll take you through today will show how that can be done at speed, at scale, and also how it can become a repeatable process, because DMS is equipped with all those modules that Yulita and Tomek mentioned, which should actually take a lot of the hard work out of this for us. So as an ESG analyst, I will begin my day and I will pick up my queue. So in my example, my client is going to be FedEx Corporation. And so then I will pop into my case and go straight to my ESG data collector form. And in here, we have this form broken down into a number of different areas. Tomek took you through the KYC components, but we've actually built this ESG data collector form on a variety of requirements from sustainable finance disclosure regulations, but also EU taxonomy. So we've taken a sample of requirements from these regulations, and we've built the form out as if it was for FedEx Corporation themselves. And so what you see here is the first tab, which is general information. This is actually really important because you need to track exactly who you're looking at, which business partner, which like counterparty you're looking at, and making sure that you're looking at the right entity and gathering all the correct details. In addition, you want to make sure that you're queuing up the right process. We started here with the extended ESG customer assessment, which basically means that we're going to do a very intensive deep dive into this particular counterparty. And again, this is important because on year one, when you're collecting your ESG data, you then want to be able to build on that, hopefully cutting back the work in future years. And so you can build on what you've collected. And so the clever thing about this form is that you can divide it into as many sections or subsections as you need. It may be that for certain clients, you actually don't need such, I guess, a diverse range of factors. In our example here, we've divided it into E, S, and G questions, and I'll talk you through some of those in a moment. And then we also applied these risk overlays, so industry, geography, and then also reputational screening. What enables us to collect this and to do it efficiently is some of the modules that Tomek mentioned, so one of them being Searcher. So as an ESG analyst, I can go and populate these forms and answer the questions, but I can also run searches in the background that will automatically drop information in here. So as you can see here in the environmental section, we have a variety of questions, again, all regulatory driven, but can be tailored according to your ESG framework and compliance needs. We have, a selection of answers so that the analyst doesn't have to spend too much time going through and thinking about what the answers are going to be. We also have a link to further guidance. So if there's some confusion about the type of information you're looking at, you can also get some extra help there. What's really important to point out as well is that we have this document repository, which sits underneath the tool. And this is, quite significant in the world of data collection. It means you have an automatic store for all the data that you collect, but also it means you're not dropping things onto desktops, forgetting about it later, or it getting wiped over the weekend. So it's really awesome to have this in the background. It takes a lot of the time and the manual saving work out of the job. You also have sections where you can add supplementary information. So as you can see here, we talk about the company having publicly available commitments, and that information also can be transported in directly from annual reports or company prospectuses. And as you go down through the questions, you can also tailor this form so that subject to the answers you give, it may actually prompt new questions, or indeed it will actually get rid of some of the existing questions. What we're trying to do here is minimize the amount of time that the analyst has to spend answering, ticking, collecting. So we want to automate as much as possible. And so then to give you another example of the risk overlays. So for example, with the industry risk, so this is super important in the world of ESG compliance. It actually drives a lot of your requirements and your standards that you need to adhere to. And so here, as you go through, you can check whether or not the companies are involved in sensitive industries. You can answer yes, no. We can also tailor this form so that more detail can be added in. So it's not just yes, no questions. It really depends again on what your tolerance or your thresholds are. And so we will cover all the major industries. And again, if it's relevant for your organization, we can break this down into further sub-industries. All is tailorable, all is very configurable, and to add questions, change maybe the logic behind it, that's also very easy to do because it's, I guess with the low code power behind this, it means that things can be tailored as the regulations change. And in the world of ESG, which is still rather, undergoing some changes, that's really important because we don't want to build a tool that has to be reconfigured from scratch every time. It's important that we still have that flexibility throughout. And one of the most powerful components within the tool is our reputational risk screener. So here we can, again, set the rules for the tool to look for certain keywords, information, negative news. We can connect it to a variety of external sources. Maybe it's media databases, maybe it's litigation, or it could be other NGO websites. So anything that is fully focused on ESG. And so as an analyst, I can run the search in the background and it can pre-populate the sections here, or indeed I can get the results and then I as the analyst can populate. So there's some good flexibility here. But of course, the most efficient way to do it is to get the pre-population done, and that gives the analyst more time to then analyze the content. When it comes to the overall outcome, so as I mentioned, there's some logic in the background, subject to what you answer in terms of these questions. It may be that your answers get pre-populated and then you get a final outcome here under the ESG readiness outcome, which tells you, okay, their environmental framework is structured, their social framework is structured, and their governance is established. So this particular entity is looking pretty good from an ESG compliance perspective. You also, of course, have the optionality of overriding this should you find something else in the course of your research. In addition, we then have the counterparty assessment calculated outcomes. So these are the risk overlays. So here, from an industry perspective, we identified some potential red flag issues, but we see also that the company in question has mitigated these issues by addressing some of the red flags found. Then also from a country perspective, how does the company fare? And here again, we're saying that they're mitigating any kind of in-country ESG red flag issues. And then from a screening perspective, there's no red flags. So overall, the outcome here is deemed low. And then combined, that gives the more positive overall ESG assessment. The tailoring here is done by, I guess in this example, just by the structure that we've used based on taxonomy and SFDR and GRIs. However, any composition or configuration of those logics or rules can be applied, and it can be updated on an ongoing basis because things may change within your business, things may change within your third-party relationships, and you may want to enhance or reduce some of those thresholds. But the key feature here is having the summary, which talks about, okay, who completed the file, when, what's the audit trail. When it comes to regulatory compliance, it's super important that we're able to capture and navigate through all these details, particularly when it comes to disclosure requirements. So from an ESG perspective, really, really important. And the nice thing about DMS also is that you can add additional commentary in here. You can also give access to other users of the tool. So for example, as the ESG analyst, I'm completing this, but Tomek is going to do my quality check and he's going to sign off on it. And then Yulita will give the final review of the file. So it can be passed on from person to person. No need to use emails. No need to, I guess, be notifying people and saying, hey, can you check this? People get an automatic notification when something is in their queue, and then they just go back to the orchestrator, pick it up, and then work through it. So really, from a large-scale, complex process perspective, that kind of form is like a game changer, because really it makes such a different world for your teams in order to do this work. And it gets you cutting through a lot more complexity and data quicker than you would do if you were doing this via spreadsheets. I guess one of the other components that I wanted to just maybe take a closer look at was Reporter. So Tomek mentioned this earlier as well, so I'm just going to pop into this section. But with regard to reporting from an ESG perspective, this is going to be critical. It is something that companies are already gearing up for. I think it's a really big challenge because it's going to be a lot of data. How you collect the data, maintain it, analyze it, and report, they're all big jobs. And really to have something like DMS help you track what your third-party, ESG requirements are, that will be quite significant. One of the, I think, key features of the tool is that you can actually run through on different levels. So, for example, you can look at your overall population. You can look at by office location, how many counterparties, how many suppliers, how many vendors you're reviewing. And you can check also what the progress of all of that is. So I guess one of the things that I would really point to in terms of the overall functionality is that ability to use the massive machine behind this that will collect data points for hundreds, maybe even thousands of third parties, and will allow you to really always be able to report, navigate to specific vendors, third parties, customers even, and be able to show any regulator or any board like what your ESG footprint looks like overall. So I'm going to bring the demos to an end. And so I guess one thing that I thought might also be worth discussing here is there's much more that can be done with DMS than just these use cases that we've shown you. So Tomek took you through the AML fin crime use case. I talked about ESG. Really, DMS was born in the world of financial crime compliance, but actually in the last couple of years, it really has grown beyond that. And it's been quite something to watch the variety of use cases, including contract reviews, mass litigation. We're also using it to do like project management engagements, which are really complicated. Anything that requires a huge amount of stakeholders, activities, tracking of processes, etc. This is really, really a game changer when it comes to managing huge operational projects. And I guess going forward, particularly with our alliance with Microsoft, we're really looking forward to seeing what else we can come up with. The scope for innovation within DMS is pretty significant. And I think really we love to see how people who use it day to day come to us and say, hey, I've got a new idea. Can we build this? And really, I've never heard Tomek say that he couldn't build anything. So that's quite something. And it really means that we have unlimited scope here. And we look forward, I think, to seeing what else we can come up with. So, Julita, over to you.
Yeah, to sum up what Una and Tomek just showed, the benefits of DMS can be outlined in, I think, 5 key categories. So compliance and risk management, regulatory requirements can be quickly and easily implemented through data collector and workflow, as Tomek presented earlier. Live reporting provides a clear overview and ensures full control over regulatory processes and allows informed decision-making process. So that's the first element. The second is cost reduction. So we talked at the beginning that currently it is one of the key challenges. However, built-in automations and effective work management, as described by Una, lead to significant savings, obviously. A next point is easy and quick alignment to regulatory requirements. So flexible configuration of data points, data sources, processes, and other requirements, as Tomek presented, ensure compliance with the latest regulatory changes without any complex and costly and time-consuming technology development. Next element is smart automations. So as you have seen, DMS already contains a lot of different unique PwC built and tested solutions that are using AI, machine learning, and data science. And last but not least, subject matter expertise. So that's our first-hand experience in helping clients to set up and run large-scale operations, either as remediation or transformation programs. That all gives us a unique, practical take on effective technology solutions. So that's to sum up DMS functionalities. I'll hand over to Tomek for a bit of a more technical description of DMS.
Thank you, Julita. But before we get into the technical details, I would just to remind you, there is a QA functionality in the global meet. So if you have any questions regarding the presentation or the solution, please ask them, and we'll be very happy to answer at the end of the presentation. All right, technical information. So we could organize a separate session to go through all of innovations that we implemented in DMS. But just to share a few key thoughts regarding technicality of the platform. So first of all, it's based on Microsoft technologies. So we've built it in .NET. We are leveraging Power Platform, Power BI. We are integrated with Power Apps. It's delivered out of Azure. So it leverages all the all the good things provided by Microsoft, and it also gives us endless opportunities to extend it further and use more and more technologies. The second point is that it's designed in a modular way, so it consists of multiple applications, and we can add more and more of them. So we as we speak, we are building new apps for new use cases, for new things. If you decide to use DMS for your own processes, it might be well beyond financial crime, ESG, or any other topics that we mentioned here. It's quite easy and quick to develop a new application that will extend the functionality. It will still be plugged into all the workflows, but it will be a new thing added to the main platform. Another point is that we designed DMS to be highly configurable. And the big benefit of that is that DMS doesn't require any developers whatsoever for a new implementation. So we can, it's so flexible and provides so many configuration options that we can implement it each time just with business analysts performing the configuration. So there is no custom development required. What's more, that configurability gives us the opportunity to change it and to amend it as we go. And that's very important and it's very powerful in the regulatory environment that tends to change quite a lot. And thanks to that, we can amend DMS as we go, as the requirements change. Another important feature is easy adoption of machine learning and data science models. So continuous innovation, continuous development of new ideas is part of our DNA at FCU. So we have entire R&D team working on new models, on new ideas, and it's quite important to be able to add them as quickly as possible to DMS, test it in production, test it with real data, with real people, and then if the ideas are successful, apply them at full scale. So that's a big advantage of DMS. We can quite quickly add new things, plug them in, and they will be available to people. What's more, beyond machine learning and data science, we can also integrate DMS with RPA solutions, with Power Apps. And actually, we have quite a lot of implementations where we set up additional Power Apps modules that support users with additional functionality. So that's a big benefit of the platform. And last but not least, DMS has gone through the Microsoft certification process, so it's now certified as IP COSL ready solution. It's available in Azure Marketplace, so we are in a very good place to go to market together with Microsoft, work together, approach clients. It also gives us additional credibility when we are speaking to clients, especially in financial services that are quite sensitive. That's a big credential that we are certified by Microsoft. Okay, so to wrap up, there are three main points that we would like you to take away from that presentation. So first of all, the rapidly changing regulatory environment creates constant opportunities. So it keeps changing, and that generates many needs from the clients, many new ideas, many new use cases. So it's a very exciting market, a very exciting place to be, and it will be changing and generating those opportunities in the future. The second thing is that DMS allows to consume that demand and to deliver on that. It's based on 10 years of our experience playing on that market and delivering projects and services to clients. So it's very well adjusted to the needs, and it might be a big success factor when you are approaching your clients. And the third point, it's very good that we are working in a close alliance between PwC and Microsoft. that helps us a lot in approaching new clients, looking for new opportunities and new leads. So that's also a powerful thing that you can leverage in your go-to-market approach. So these are the key points related to our demo. Now we can get to the Q&A session. Again, if you have any questions, I encourage you to raise them through Global Meet, and we'll now go through a few questions that appeared already. So let me read them. Okay, so I guess the first one will be to Una.
Lucky me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Una. So the question is, ESG regulations are still quite immature and subject to change. Can the DMS ESG tool be adjusted or updated on an ongoing basis to accommodate this?
So absolutely yes is the answer. I mean, this is what everybody is struggling with, I think, fundamentally, is that the ESG disclosure requirements aren't even perfectly clear yet. Everybody needs to start disclosing by early next year. And really, I think that the value of the DMS tool is that you can really start the groundwork now so that you're not under significant pressure in Q1, Q2 of next year. And really, as the regulations themselves evolve, because they're really in an infant state at the moment, but as they evolve over the next couple of years, you know, DMS will be able to move with them on that journey and will be able to adapt and adopt accordingly. I think also in terms of like additional EU level or maybe even country level regulations, for example, the various supply chain acts, that will mean that you will have to change your questions, you will have to change your assessments and the data points you gather. And it's crucial that DMS can help facilitate that. I think also with regards to the data sources that are available, whatever we start with now will have changed as well, even in 6 months' time. So to keep on top of that and making sure that like the best sources that you can find are being fed into DMS, I think that will be really crucial in the coming months. And I don't think there are many other tools out there that will be able to facilitate that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. So let me see what the next question is. I would be really keen to bring this to one of my clients. Whom should I reach out to for support with a client demo of DMS? So I will pick that one up. Please feel free to reach out to any of us. After the presentation, you will get a full information pack with all contact details, with our website, video. So you will have all the information and you will know how to reach out. We are very happy to help. It's actually quite easy and quite smooth experience to take it to the client, as we have all materials ready. We can design a dedicated demo for you. We can engage people who will help to demo that. We have Q&A materials, so everything is prepared, and we can support you very well in taking that to the clients. And also, if you have any ideas for new areas that could be developed in DMS or ways how DMS could support you in your area, then we are also open to develop that in DMS, and we'll be very happy to broaden the set of use cases that DMS has. Okay. So there's another question. Yulita, I guess that this one will be for you. What would you say is DMS' most unique feature? What sets it apart from similar providers?
So I think there are two elements that are worth highlighting. First one, as you have seen during the demos, there is a lot of different automations, functionalities, modules that are integrated into one platform on DMS. If you look at the current market, same functionalities would be covered by a number of different vendors, and that would require additional time to integrate, to configure, and to develop that into one solution. So first thing I would highlight is the comprehensive setup of DMS in terms of functionalities. The second element is practicality. So as Tomek mentioned, we've been building DMS based on over 10 years of operational experience in financial crime, especially. And therefore, if you look at DMS, there are a lot of very practical approaches, practical solutions that are unseen, I think, on the market currently. That's.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, there is one more question. So, what are the plans for the future development of DMS? What's next on the roadmap? Okay, so I will pick that one up as well. So currently there are two big items that we are currently developing, and we are quite excited because they will be rolled out to production very soon. One is a functionality of client portal that will be available to clients of our clients, so potentially tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. And then if you provide operational services, you can also communicate with broader world through that portal. So that's a feature that's looked for by many of our clients and by many of our teams. It's been developed already, it's going through tests and will be rolled out soon. Another big item on the roadmap is module for screening automation. So screening when it comes to sanction screening, which became a hot topic quite recently, but also negative news screening. That's also hot and ready, going through the test. We'll be releasing that soon. Apart from those two topics, there are a few more that we are looking at from the future perspective, such as automated document processing, image recognition, and deriving conclusions from data available on the web. That's mostly in the financial crime space. Beyond financial crime, we are looking to build even more new use cases. You've seen on the slide that there are already a few ideas that are being tested, and many more in the queue waiting to be taken to the market. So again, I encourage you very much, if you have any good ideas for future development or additional use cases, we'll be very, very happy to pick them up. Okay, and I see one more questions. And again, I think Julita, I will ask it to you. So, what is your experience with clients that do not want to let data out of the company? What is your experience of integrating? Oh, again, sorry, that's another question.
So we have a couple of solutions for that. We have actually so far had a number of implementations of DMS, and most of them have been hosted on the Azure. And there are two options. So we can either use our PwC cloud, or we can also implement and set up DMS on the client's platforms. So that's one option. And another option is also for very specific clients with strong data restrictions. There is an option to implement DMS locally.
Okay, thank you. And one more question. What's your experience of integrating DMS with clients' infrastructure or systems? So I will pick that one up. So we have multiple ways of integrating and installing DMS, and so far we tested all of them for different clients. So we can, first of all, in terms of delivery model, we can deliver DMS either as software as a service, and then from client perspective, they only need to get logins from us. They can log into our environment and start using DMS. So that gives us very short implementation timelines. Another way is to install it on premise, and it's preferred by some clients from the security perspective, but it takes a bit more time as they need to set up their own infrastructure. Then when it comes to integration with external systems, we have multiple ways of doing that. DMS is built in REST architecture, so it natively provides APIs that can be consumed by clients if they wish so. We can also call APIs of our clients, so if they have systems that allow to be called or that provide some API, we can consume that. We can also build tactical integrations using RPA or batch files, and we have a number of such cases that are working on production. It works very well. So in a nutshell, we have plenty of opportunities that's quite flexible in terms of integration, and it doesn't have to take a lot of effort to integrate DMS with some other systems.
And maybe if I can add something, I think as well, we have really great collective experience in terms of that type of interaction with our clients, and we've experienced and encountered a variety of different systems and challenges along the way. I think really one of the kind of unique things about the DMS solution is that there's very few scenarios we haven't seen before. And I think that really helps us to overcome them quite quickly. And that early engagement as well with, I guess, our clients' internal risk management teams or their technology teams, I think it's crucial because like that's the thing that is going to get everything off the ground quicker.
Yes, that's correct. That's a good point. And I think it's also worth adding that for each of the applications that you see in DMS, we have a dedicated API, and its functionality can be exposed to clients. So, for instance, we have a client who has been using just the search engine functionality for quite a while already. They've been just sending queries with research terms to us. And we have processed hundreds of thousands of queries for them. So there are plenty of ways how can we interact and how the platform can be consumed.
I think we just basically can adjust setup and configuration of DMS to very specific client situation and needs. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I see we have one more question, and I guess this one will go to Julita as well. And the question is short. So, what about the costs? So I think here it would be worth to explain a little bit about our pricing model.
Yeah, so I can start with the famous, consulting. It depends. There are a couple of elements that we're looking at. So first is a one-off cost of configuration. So depending on specific client needs, the modules that needs to be implemented, the specific configuration, the complexity of the solution, and the technical setup, the cost might be very, very different from 50,000 euros to 500,000 euros, depending on the complexity. But that's the one-off cost at the beginning. Later on, we have a running cost, and running costs cover support, subscriptions, and hosting. So that's, I think, in a nutshell. Whoever asked the questions, we're happy to, have an additional session to explain in more detail, depending on, maybe a concrete client and a concrete setup.
Okay, thank you, Julita. So I think these are all questions, and our session is coming to an end. So here I would like to thank you very much for attending the session. Thank you for spending this morning with us. I hope after the session you are as excited as we are about functionalities of DMS and the market opportunities that we can pursue together. Please reach out to us. We'll be very happy to help you, to consult, to show what DMS can do for you. So please reach out to us. One more time, thank you very much for attending the session. Thank you, Lita. Thank you, Una. And thank you to the entire team for making this happen. Thanks a lot.